Hello everyone, it's Casey Truffo here again from Be a Wealthy Therapist and the International Therapist Leadership Institute. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about something really cool. Yesterday we sent out an email asking therapists what their number one and number two questions were about building a private practice, about attracting cash-paying clients, about building a marketing plan and staying accountable to that marketing plan. We had several hundred responses. I'm very grateful. If you sent yours in, I read each and every one. And I've decided that what I want to do is come up with a series of videos, probably 3 of them, where I take some of these questions and you and I just chat here while I try to give you my best answer for them. So let's look at some of the questions and I can kind of give you a preview of what's coming up. The first question was, what is the number one most effective, best, least time-consuming, most economical way of attracting cash-paying clients? That was our number one question. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The second question we had was, how do I really find time for marketing? I really didn't want to do marketing in the first place. I don't really love it. And yet I know I probably have to do something for my practice. That was question number 2. Question number 3 was, what do I do about the people that want to pay insurance and I want to attract a cash-paying clientele? What do I do with them? And how do we get them in this economic times that we're in? And then the fourth question, which I thought was very interesting, several people asked, how do I convince people to use my services? So these are the questions I'm going to be covering in some upcoming videos, but let's get right to it. What is the number one, most perfect, least time-consuming, most economical, most effective way to build your practice? Well, as your mom said, it depends. So let's take a couple of examples. Let's say you wanted to work with couples who are struggling with their relationships. So when I think couples, where would you go first? Let's make a list, and if this is your specialty, you could do this with me. Make a list of 20 places that they might hang out, other ancillary providers that they might go to, say an acupuncturist, a woman might go to an acupuncturist, groups that they might belong in that maybe you could do a speaking engagement, places on the internet that they might go to, so certain kinds of forums or Facebook pages, things like that. So make a list of those things. And then when you do that, you can then make your marketing plan and find the number one best way for you, or number 1, 2, and 3, and then you do them and you test them and you see what works. So if I were working with couples, I would make the assumption, right or wrong, that the woman is the one that is going to make the appointment. So I would probably go to places of worship, and because they foster relationships as a rule, and I would see if there was some way that I could either connect with referral sources there or do some speaking engagements, depending on your personality and what feels good for you. That might be one thing. Now, there are lots more. I would look at other ancillary providers that serve them and begin to build reciprocal relationships with those people, referral relationships with those people. Speaking in the community would be a big way that I would do it. Now, if you hate speaking, there's other ways. There's one-on-one ways to meet with women. I would consider business networking meetings. I would consider, like I said, doing lunch and learns, where you might be able to talk about relationship issues or something like that at a small company during their lunch hour. So now let's contrast that, because the question was, what's the number one most perfect, least time-consuming, most cost-effective way to build your practice? Let's say you wanted to work with men who had anger issues. Either they had anger issues that got them in trouble, or somebody else thought that they had anger issues. Would you market in the same place? Possibly, but there might be some better ones. So again, we go back and we make our list of 20, either people that they would confide in about this issue, professionals, or like their doctors or their clergy. Would they go to a speaking engagement on how to handle your anger? Probably not. So I probably wouldn't put speaking in there as the most effective way, the number one way, if you were trying to work with that. I would, however, start looking into some online options. I might create a blog about how to handle it when other people think you have anger issues, or how to handle it when your anger gets you in trouble. I may even market to women who are with men who get themselves in trouble with their anger. So I guess my point here is, I'm not trying to give you the exact sequence, although I hope I can give you some hints here, but I want you to really spend some time in the preparation phase of thinking like your ideal client. Where would they go? and who would they see? Then you can pick the marketing activities that make the most sense, because otherwise you're doing what we call shotgun marketing, and you're just throwing stuff out, and you're going to probably waste a lot of time, energy, money, and feel discouraged, and I really don't want that for you. So spend a little bit of time in the prep phase. Be the ideal client. Walk in those shoes, and then I think it's going to come to you pretty quickly. So stay tuned for the next video, because in the next video, we're going to be talking about, I never really wanted to market. I wanted to just be a therapist, and yet now I'm being called to market, and I don't like it. How can I do it in the easiest way for me, get it over with, and find time for it? We're going to be talking about that in the next video. And then in the third video, we're going to be talking about what to do about insurance. And if you're getting people who want to use insurance, how to handle that in a way that works today. And I'm hoping to do some myth busting on that one, because I think that's a good one. I know you're having some experiences now, but I think if we switch our thinking a little bit, you'll be able to have some better results there. And then I'm also going to talk about how to convince somebody to use your services, or can you? We'll be talking about that soon. Stay tuned.